Product research is the most important part of the entire Amazon FBA private label business model. It also happens to be the most underestimated part of the process. Everyone expects to find a product in a short amount of time, but realize pretty quick that it isn't as easy as they thought. I mean, I was one of them. The thing is that you must do your due diligence and be methodical when doing product research, and not take any shortcuts if you want to mitigate as much risk as possible and maximize your chances of success with a viable product idea. I understand, and I hope you understand too, that each product idea that you analyze takes time, and after what seems like passing on hundreds of product ideas, one after another, the process can become discouraging and eventually turn to frustration. So, without cutting any corners, how can you do product research faster? In this video, I'll show you how you can break down the product research phase into 3 steps so that you can filter through the product ideas much faster. But first, my name is Crescent, and on my channel I share tips and strategy videos just like this one and how you can create a successful Amazon FBA private label business. So if you enjoy videos like this, consider subscribing. Alright, let's get started. In several other videos that I have on my channel, I go over how there are 3 stages to product research: planning, product discovery, and niche analysis. Almost all beginners fail to do the planning phase, and this is the first step to failing at product research, because if you don't have a plan, you'll just be doing product research in the dark without an actual target or goal. So if you want to learn more about doing this, check out this video here. And because the planning phase is something you typically do only once, this video is going to be focused on the other 2 stages of product research: product discovery and niche analysis. So the first step is getting a general overview while doing product discovery. There's no right or wrong way to come up with product ideas, such as looking at Amazon's best sellers list, frequently bought together items, or using a product database tool. I recommend beginners start with using a product database tool like the one from Jungle Scout. It allows you to find specific products that match specific filters that you set. So if you're going to use a tool like this, if you want to be able to do product research quickly, it's important that you understand what each filter does and the intent of using them. Otherwise, you're just copying someone else's settings without understanding the reasoning behind it. Now, if we take a look at Jungle Scout's product database, you can see on the right here, this is where you can set the filters to find specific products that meet these specific search criteria. The main filters you're going to be concerned with is the price, the sales velocity, the revenue, reviews, weight, and the excluded keywords. And it's important that you understand what each one of these does. Now, the price is the minimum price and maximum price. And it's important that you look for products that are at least $15 or higher. Anything less than $15 doesn't leave you much room for profit. Typically, about 1/3 of the sale price is your profit margin. 1/3 is going to go to your unit costs, and the other 1/3 is going to go to Amazon's FBA fees. So again, in my recommendation, you want to make sure you're making at least $5 in profit per unit. So if it's $15, $5 is going to go to fees, the other $5 is going to go to your unit costs, and the remaining $5 will be your profit margin. And it's also important that you look for products that are less than $50. Anything more than $50 generally no longer is an impulse buy. So look for products within the $15 to $50 price range. Now, the sales velocity here, this is where you're going to use your planning to determine what the minimum sales velocity should be. Typically, this is going to be around 250 to 300 units. So set that in this field here. You can also use the revenue field to find products that meet specific revenue goals. And again, typically 1/3 will be your profit margin. So if you're aiming to make $3,000 profit per month, you're probably going to want to find products that make at least $8,000 to $9,000 minimum per month. And you can use those values here. Reviews is where we determine the competition in a niche. So what I recommend is you find products where at least 7 out of the top 10 listings have less than 75 reviews. So you want to set 75 as the maximum reviews. Weight, I recommend looking in the small sized tier. So you want to look for products that are less than 2 pounds. So that's why it's set to 2 here. Now the exclude keyword field is important to use here so you can remove specific listings from the search results. Now I'll put the list of keywords that I use in the video description below so you can copy them for your own use. Now what this list does is that any listings that have keywords in your exclude keyword list, they won't show up in the search results. And that will dramatically reduce the total number of listings that you're gonna have to wade through. Now, once you understand what each one of these filters does, you can play around with these settings so you don't use exactly what I'm showing here. So for example, if you want to look for higher ranged price products, you can change this to $50 and higher to avoid looking at saturated niches, where a lot of beginners are looking at the $15 to $50 price range. Or if you want to look for products that specifically have room for improvement, you can target listings that have low reviews. And you can do that here by setting a max rating, for example, 3.7. You can also look for products that are specifically in the oversized or overweight tier. So instead of having a maximum of 2 pounds, you can set a minimum of 2 pounds. Okay, so you can mix and match and use your own imagination to look for different product ideas. Now, once you have a set of filters to use, you can click on search to look for product ideas. Now, the key to speeding up the product discovery phase is to look for strange and out of the ordinary products and to avoid the common and easily identifiable products. For example, products that you easily recognize or you know you have around the house, those types of products typically are too competitive or don't have enough demand. So for example, if we take a look at some of these, something like these microfiber towels are pretty commonplace. So if we queue some of these up and open it in a new tab, and something like this collapsible ball funnel, let's queue that up too. These are pretty common items that people have around the house. Now, I've also found a few items that did catch my eye, like this biohazard waste disposal container. That's kind of strange and out of the ordinary. So let's queue this one up, as well as these AccuLevel trigger point balls. Now this caught my eye because I have no idea what it is, and this photo is some strange and out of the ordinary thing that I've never seen before. So let's queue this up. Now by doing product discovery this way, this will help you prevent wasting time looking at products that are too competitive or just that don't have enough demand. So these commonplace items that you easily recognize that you've seen before or you already have around the house, these products you can just avoid right off the bat so you're not wasting time analyzing them. So this will help speed up the entire product discovery phase. So look for products that are strange and out of the ordinary where you don't recognize them right away or the photo is odd and strange and catches your eye. So once you've queued up a few products that are strange and out of the ordinary, this leads us to step 2, which is closer inspection. So let's take a look at the 2 common items that we queued up earlier. The first being this microfiber towel. Now it's important that you don't analyze only one listing. You need to analyze an entire niche. So this microfiber towel listing, we need to figure out what the broadest keyword is to analyze the entire niche. So just by me describing it to you in this video, I already know that this broadest keyword is just microfiber towel. So what I'm going to do here is make sure I choose all departments and type in microfiber towel as the shortest and broadest main keyword and pull up the entire niche. Now what you want to do is make sure you scroll through the search results and make sure that the majority of the listings are indeed the microfiber towel. This way you can verify that you've chosen the correct broadest keyword. Now it looks like in this case that it is. And it's important that you do this correctly because if you use the wrong broadest keywords, for example, if you use a keyword that is too broad or too long tail, you'll be potentially looking at data that's only a smaller subset of the broader niche. And that can get you into a lot of trouble. So make sure you get the right broadest keyword. Now I actually have a video that goes into detail on making sure you use the correct broadest keyword when you're analyzing niches here. And I'll leave a link to it in the video description below. So now that we've used the correct broadest keyword, we can use a Chrome extension tool, such as the one from Jungle Scout, to pull the data up for this entire niche. Now, like I said earlier, this microfiber towel is a very common product that people generally have in their household already. And you can see right away under the review column that there's thousands of reviews here. And you need to make sure that at least 7 out of the top 10 have less than 75 reviews. So without analyzing any more data, I can already see that this niche is way too competitive and pass on this idea. So you can see here that all the listings here have thousands of reviews. So you can quickly pass on this idea and move on to another one. Now, if we move on to the other one, this collapsible funnel, again, choose the correct broadest keyword. And in this case, it's just collapsible funnel. So let's just copy that. Again, choose all departments and do a search for collapsible funnel. And quickly scan through the results to make sure that most of the products are the product that you're looking for. In this case, it is collapsible funnel. And we'll pull up the Jungle Scout Chrome extension. And like I said earlier, you want to make sure the price is at least $15 or higher, or else there's no room for profit. And you can see right away that in the price column that the average price here is way below $15. So again, without having to look at any more data, I can pass on this product idea. And this is how you can move quickly through products. All right, so let's move on to the two products that I found that were strange and out of the ordinary. The first being this biohazard waste disposal container. So like before, make sure you choose the correct Broadest keyword. And so in this case, it's biohazard disposal container is my best guess here. So let's choose all departments and let's do biohazard containers. And you can see that here in the autocomplete, it's showing us what the most popular search term is already. So I can use that to help me choose the broadest keyword. And we'll look through the search results to see that this is indeed the correct keyword, because most of the products that show up are this container. And we'll pull up the Jungle Scout Chrome extension. And here's where we do step 2 of closer inspection and understanding what to look for so you can analyze this quickly. So what you want to do is make sure, again, the price is at least $15 and higher. So we want to look down the price column and manually, by eye, look and see what the average price range here. And the average price looks like it's around $15 to $20. So it's definitely at least $15 and higher. Now, you want to make sure you're not looking at the average price here, because the average is just a sum of all of the listings here divided by how many listings there are. So if there's any listings that have a really high price or a really low price, it's going to throw off this average. So that's why you want to manually look through here. Okay, so this passes that test. And now you want to look at the monthly sales velocity column here to make sure it meets your minimum sales requirement that you set out in your planning phase. And that's typically around 250 to 300 units per month. And if we take a look at that, it's pretty close. Most of these listings are selling in the thousands of reviews or hundreds of reviews. Okay, now another test you can do is look at the monthly revenue. And like I said earlier, about a third of it is going to be your profit margin. So if you're aiming to make around $3,000 profit per month, you want to make sure that the majority of the listings here are doing at least $8,000 or $9,000 in revenue every month. And it looks like that they are. Okay, now if we move on to reviews, you want to make sure that at least 7 out of the top 10 listings have less than 75 reviews. Again, don't look at the average, you want to count it. So if you take a look here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 listings have more than 75 reviews. So this is borderline too competitive. Now, before you move on, if any one of these fail, you can immediately drop this product idea and move on. There's no sense in analyzing the data any further. Okay, so because so far it passes all the criteria and the competition is borderline, we can move on to see if it's brand dominated. So you want to make sure that no one seller has more than 3 or 4 listings on the first page. And I can see right away that this Oak Ridge seller has 6 listings already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 listings on the first page. So in my opinion, this is brand dominated. So this niche fails right there. So I would immediately stop and drop this product idea. Now, another metric you want to consider is the saturation of the niche. And you want to always avoid saturated niches. Now, saturated niche is how many new sellers there are that have entered this space in the last 2 or 3 months. Now, Jungle Scout doesn't actually show you this data in this Chrome extension. So that's why I use another product research tool from AMZ Scout. And their Chrome extension gives you that data. So if I open that Chrome extension, you can see that their Chrome extension pulls up the exact same data as the Jungle Scout one, but there's an extra column here that says available from, and that's how new these listings are. And so you want to make sure that there isn't a majority of new sellers here that are all within the last 2 or 3 months. And so right now it's September of 2019. So you want to go down here and see how many recent new seller listings there are. And I can see that there's 1. Now there's also a saturation score here that actually helped AMZ Scout develop. And this saturation score helps you identify if a niche is saturated or not. And it's a score out of 10. The lower, the better. And it has a saturation score of 1. And it says that there's 0 sellers that have found this niche this month. Okay? Now there is a free way of checking the age of a listing, and that's with a Chrome extension from Keepa. And if you go to keepa.com and click on apps, you can download the Chrome extension here for the browser that you have. And what it does is if you open up a listing, and make sure you don't look at the sponsored listings here, you want to look at the top listings. So starting from the organically ranked #1 listing, such as this one, you can open it up in a new tab. And if you scroll down under the main photo, you can see that Keepa opens up its own little data window here, and it shows you the age of the listing here. So if you want to do the free method, you're going to have to do this manually for the top 10 or 15 listings, and one by one, open up each listing to look at this field here. So again, if you're looking to speed up the product research process, AMZ Scout will make this a lot faster rather than you having to go through and manually look at each listing one by one. Now again, if we go back to analyzing the entire niche, when you're looking at each data point, once it fails one of these criteria, pass on the product and move on. There's no sense in wasting time looking at the other criteria. There's also data that you don't need to analyze and waste time on. So for example, there are people that look at the rank column here, which is the BSR, which is the bestseller rank. Now it doesn't matter what the bestseller rank is for each one of these listings. You're only concerned with what the top sellers are selling here. And because of that, you also don't want to sort this listing. If you click on the column headings here, you can sort this list by, for example, the monthly sales. So you can rank it high to low, or you can rank it by the number of reviews, high to low, or the monthly revenue by high to low. And you can see when you do that, it's jumbled around the listing order here, okay? And you don't want to resort this by anything other than leaving it in the organic order. So make sure you click on this and put it back in the organic order here. And that's because when you sell your product, you're only competing against the top sellers, which are the ones on the first page. It doesn't matter what the other sellers are doing that are not on the first page. They're not your direct competitors. The majority of the sellers in a niche, most of them aren't selling anything, or the sellers aren't actively trying to sell the products. Only the sellers on the first page are generally actively trying to sell their products, so they're your direct competitors. So again, make sure you never resort this listing. Always leave it in the organically ranked sort order. Also, one other point I want to bring up here is if we close this window, you can see that there's 516 results. This number doesn't matter either. It doesn't matter how many total sellers there are in a niche. Again, you're only concerned with the top sellers on the first page. They're your direct competitors. All the other ones don't matter. Now moving on to the other product that I found, which is this Accu Mobility trigger point ball. Now I'm going to assume that trigger point ball is the keyword for this niche. So again, I'll choose all departments and do a search on that keyword. And I'll search through the results just to make sure that it is the correct keyword phrase, and it looks like it is. And I'll pull up the Jungle Scout Chrome extension. All right, and again, to quickly analyze the niche, let's look at the price. Make sure it's at least $15 and higher, and it looks like it is. They're typically around $20 price point. And if we look at the monthly sales, make sure it's at least 250 units to 300 units a month or more. And if we look down here, it looks like it is. And if we look at the reviews, make sure at least 7 out of the top 10 have less than 75 reviews. So let's count. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's borderline competitive. And if we look at the brand column, we want to make sure that it's not brand dominated. So make sure there isn't one seller that has more than 3 or 4 listings on the first page. And I can see here that there's a trigger point that has 1, 2, 3 listings. So it's borderline brand dominated. So this is actually a pretty good product idea. So with just a few minutes of product research, I already found a product that is viable that you can move on to doing further analysis on. Okay? So this is how you do product research faster. You just go down the data points, and if it fails, immediately pass. If it doesn't, continue analyzing. And if it passes all of the product research criteria, you can consider this a viable product idea. Now, a couple of things I want to bring up here while doing product research. A lot of beginners get caught up during the data analysis, and they're trying to force it to meet the product research criteria. So for example, if we jump onto my Facebook group, there's a lot of examples where people have posted screenshots of the Chrome extension tool. So for example, here we have Edgar Mendoza, and he posted this one here, and you can see that it's missing a lot of the data here. Now, for whatever reason, beginners think that because there's something missing here, that this is a potential viable product. Now, in my opinion, you're wasting time here. If there's not enough data for you to analyze, then you can't form a clear picture of this niche. So just pass on it. So if you run into a niche like this where there's simply not enough data, stop wasting time on it and trying to force this to become a viable product idea. Another situation is when you pull up a niche and there's only a very few limited sellers, like this one from Lucida Chang. There's only one seller. Now, there's not enough data here. Typically, if there's only one seller or very few sellers, it's probably a patented product, or there's not enough demand. If there's no demand, then no one's going to want to sell this product, so just skip it and move on. There's over 12 million products in the US Amazon marketplace, so there's no sense in wasting time when you run into situations like this. Just pass on them and move on. All right, hope you can see that in order to do product research quickly and efficiently, you need to understand what the data is and how to analyze it quickly and easily. In order to do data analysis quickly and easily, you need to have the right tools. And the tools that I use are from Jungle Scout and AMZ Scout. And they both have trial periods for you to test out their products. And right now, Jungle Scout has a 30% off special offer, and I'll leave a link to it in the video description below so you can take advantage of it should you decide to purchase it. And I also have a coupon for AMZ Scout for you to save some money too should you decide to use that one as well. Now, step 1 and 2 is what you'll be doing repeatedly over and over again until you find a viable product idea. That's why if you want to do product research faster, you need to streamline the process. And by using the techniques I went over, you can dramatically cut down the time that you spend. Once you've found a viable product idea, step 3 is deeper analysis. And this step is far more involved and takes considerably more time and will make or break the success of your product. There's no way to speed up this step, and it's beyond the scope of this video, but it involves making sure that the product isn't patented or trademarked, identifying a good method of differentiation, verifying the product margin by getting an estimate on the unit costs, and verifying the sales velocity meets what you set out in your plan by using a product tracker and the 999 cart method. Now, I have a video that goes into more detail about how you do all of this here that you can watch to learn more about it. I'll also leave a link to it in the video description below. Okay, I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, post them in the comment section below. And if you'd like to see more videos on how to do product research, check out these 2 videos here. All right, thanks for watching. If you found value in this video, you know what to do. Hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And make sure you click that bell icon to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. There's also a link in the description to our community forums, which you should totally join. And as always, thanks for watching.